Access to information, press freedom are both important and reinforcing rights for the proper functioning of democratic societies and the realization of the sustainable development goals. Whereas access to information helps the media and citizens to access information held by governments and relevant private bodies, free press helps the journalists to disseminate information, but also to hold governments, officials, and institutions accountable. And this is important because then it helps people to participate in their governance. The advancement of technology, and especially social media, has opened up immense opportunities for citizens to know what is happening around them and participate in the debate that shapes their environment. Now, in Africa, Africa is a continent with the highest youth population. And on a daily basis, young people are engaging on social media, expressing themselves on various issues that affect and concern them. It is estimated that every month, for example, on Facebook alone, there are 97 million users of Facebook. In Nigeria alone, it is estimated that at the moment, there are 37 million Facebook subscribers. And the trend is the same on other platforms, Twitter, TikTok, and others on a daily basis. Across the African continent, several online news sites actively produce and share content almost instantly as events unfold. In spite of these positive developments, there have been challenges, including the spread of misinformation, which is information that is created and shared without intent of causing harm or misleading. And this has been a major source of concern. In the digital age, anybody can create content and publish it anywhere without fact checking or verification. And as a result of this, there has been conspiracy theories, fake news, and propaganda, which has increased and multiplied with major ramifications for individual persons and even societies. The spread of misinformation erodes public trust and undermines free press. Here in Africa, misinformation tends to increase around key moments, such as elections, when there are demonstrations, during epidemics and pandemics, as we observed during COVID-19. And governments have unfortunately tended to respond disproportionately by enacting and implementing laws that are very restrictive and harsh, arresting, introducing surveillance measures, among other measures, which overall affect free expression, press freedom, and free flow of information. And this has had a chilling effect on people's trust and undermined their ability to freely participate in democratic governance. It is worth noting that over the past 4 years, there has been resurgence of coups, military coups, in a number of African countries that has resulted in the change of governments. Surprisingly, these coups have happened in some of the countries after a few months of holding elections and electing these governments. But then we see when the coups are happening, citizens are cheering and rejoicing over the removal of these governments, which means that access to information, participation in these electoral processes were not necessarily satisfactory to these citizens who cheer when these governments are being removed. In view of the above, it is important that some measures are taken to address misinformation and promote free press and access to information. And these are some of the things that could be done. First and foremost, governments should recognize that lack of access to information creates a vacuum which becomes an important environment through which misinformation thrives. And as such, it is recommended that they should pass and implement access to information laws, and this should include proactive disclosure of information. Unfortunately, as of this month, May 2023, there are only 27 African countries that have access to information laws. And in many, if not all of these countries, implementation of these laws is is challenging. Recommendation number 2, media and civil society organizations should invest in fact-checking and verification with a view of combating misinformation and its effects. This obviously requires press freedom, and as such, governments should create a conducive environment for press freedom, but also for civil society, independent civil society, to do their work freely. You may know that in many countries in Africa, civic space is shrinking and shifting, which is then not good for free flow of information and creates an environment for misinformation. Government and media organizations and civil SOs should also work together to foster media literacy and critical thinking. This necessitates a commitment for defending press freedom and supporting an environment where free press can flourish. Networks and platforms like Facebook, like Twitter, and others should also enact and implement policies that detect and quickly remove incorrect material, while at the same time boosting reliable sources of credible information. And finally, information commissioners and regulators should actively engage various stakeholders to play a promotional role in the advancement of access to information as a public good in order to address misinformation. Thank you very much.